The Newsday continues here on One News Now Business. I'm Diego Castro. Here are the biggest stories on the economic and corporate fronts. Analysts warn that the Bangko Central's higher for longer monetary policy stance will continue to weigh on the country's growth momentum. Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Arsenio Balisacan acknowledges the BSP stance to temper the threat of inflation. However, Balisacan also notes the need to address supply-side issues from which inflation stemmed from. ING Bank Manila senior economist Nikki Mapa also says that elevated rates may slow GDP growth. Mapa warns that the country may continue to see inflation if cost-side pressures persist. On the other hand, Security Bank Chief Economist Dan Roses says keeping a hawkish stance for 2 straight quarters may help maintain price stability. However, Roses says slashing rates can stimulate economic growth by reducing borrowing costs for businesses and consumers. A Bloomberg report earlier quoted BSP Governor Eli Remolona as saying that the central bank will remain, quote, hawkish for a while, especially if inflation does not go down as expected. The Bangko Central raised borrowing costs by 450 bips from May 2022 to support the peso and tame inflation. Despite inflation concerns, a World Bank official says the Philippines is projected to be an upper-middle-income economy by as early as 2025. In an interview during the Business World Forecast 2024 Economic Forum last November 22, World Bank Country Director for the Philippines, Indiame Diop, stated that based on the current level of income per capita and projections for its increase in the next few years, the Philippines is expected to attain the status of an upper middle-income country by 2025 to 2026. This, he says, is contingent on the growth of the economy during that period. The World Bank's forecast is in line with the Marcos administration's target for the country to reach upper middle-income status by 2025. The World Bank currently classifies the Philippines as a lower middle-income country with a gross national income per capita of $3,950. An upper middle-income country means having a GNI per capita income range of over $4,000 to nearly $14,000. In other news, the ship that has been seized by armed men in the Gulf of Aden with Filipino nationals reportedly on board is now safe. One of the officials speaking to Reuters on the condition of anonymity said the USS Mason warship responded to the distress call and the tanker is now free. The officials, however, did not identify the attackers. The incident involving the chemical tanker Central Park is the latest in a series of attacks in Middle Eastern waters since the war between Israel and Hamas broke out on October 7. This also follows the recent seizure of an Israeli-linked cargo ship by Yemen Houthis in the southern Red Sea last week. According to Zodiac Maritime, which manages Central Park, the Turkish captain's vessel has a multinational crew consisting of Russian, Vietnamese, Bulgarian, Indian, Georgian, and Filipino nationals. Zodiac Maritime is a London headquartered international ship management company owned by an Israeli family. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. The National Economic and Development Authority is eyeing a solicited proposal for the privatization of the MRT3 with LRT2. NEDA Secretary Arsenio Balisacan emphasized a preference for solicited proposals over unsolicited ones, as the former provides better chances of securing a high-quality income. Balisacan also mentioned that the current direction involves studying the possibility of having the private sector handle the operations and maintenance aspects of the project. Earlier this year, the Transportation Department said it was studying the privatization of the O&M of the MRT3 and LRT2. This comes ahead of the expiry of the Sobre Peña-led MRT3 operator Metro Rail Transit Corporation's build, lease, and transfer agreement in 2025. The Securities and Exchange Commission is still planning to push through with its planned hike in fees and charges. This statement comes after the corporate regulator and members of different business chambers agreed to work together and move forward with the plan. SEC Commissioner MC Jill Bryant Fernandez said the meeting with business representatives, which took place 2 or 3 weeks ago, was, quote, very productive and positive. Fernandez said the SEC and business groups did not have any specific discussions on specific revisions. During this meeting, Fernandez also cannot disclose the timeline yet for the implementation of the fee hikes, but he notes that it's still in the pipeline. Let's now take a quick look at some corporate headlines we are watching. MPT South Corporation is setting aside almost 12 billion pesos for its capital expenditure budget for the next 2 years. The unit of Metro Pacific Tollway says majority of the capex will fund the ongoing construction of existing projects. These include the C5 South Link and the Cavite-Laguna Expressway. Meanwhile, Aboitiz Power Corporation will allot a 50 billion peso capex budget in 2024 for the expansion and construction of its renewable energy projects. The company has yet to disclose the number of projects next year, but they noted that most of the expansion and new projects are in renewables such as solar and wind energy. And the Land Bank of the Philippines secures the highest rating among state agencies in terms of corporate governance for last year. The Governance Commission for GOCCs gave Land Bank a rating of 102.5 on its Corporate Governance Scorecard, or CGS. Pension funds SSS and GSIS placed second and third respectively. And those are the top business stories of the hour. I'm Diego Castro. Join us again at 2 p.m. We are One News, all sides, all the time.